They stripped away the paint and put grass down on the floor of this Giants stadium, and standing on that grass is our own Pam Oliver. Pam?
Hey, Joe, major electricity down here today. Boy, these guys are completely fired up. I talked to Eagles defensive end Hugh Douglas before the game. He said he expects the Giants to come out fired up and their fans to be nasty. Quarterback Kerry Collins, in a great move before the game, told me with a smile he expects this game to be a whole lot of fun. One thing you did not see before the game, a whole lot of chit-chat between the different players from the different teams. Man, they are all business. Joe, back to you.
All right, well, we'll say it one more time, and then we'll put it to rest for just a short while. And then I'm sure we'll hammer in the second half. If the Giants win, they're in the playoffs in what has been an improbable march toward January football for the G-men. And for the Eagles, it's been an incredible season, whether it's been Donovan McNabb at quarterback, or it's been Coy Detmer, or it's been A.J. Feely, who will make his most important start in his football career. High school, college, pros, doesn't matter. This is it. They win. They get home field advantage as long as they're alive in the NFC playoffs. And when you have Green Bay in your conference, that is a major carrot sitting out there for the Eagles.
Well, there's no question, and the Eagles have had their backs against the wall for the last 5 weeks. They've been in a position where they've had to win games, and they've been able to do that without their leader, Donovan McNabb. I think it says a lot for this Eagles coaching staff.
And the last time I saw an atmosphere like this at Giants Stadium was when the Minnesota Vikings came in here for the NFC Championship game. And boy, what a start the Giants got off to that day.
You know the story about Fossil and what his teams have done in his 6 years with the Giants, 18-5 during the month of December. Took over the play calling, and the offense has taken off. Glad you're with us. Away we go. Shorty. And from just inside the 20, it's Damian Douglas. Crosses the 30, and he's knocked down just shy of the 33, and that's where A.J. Feely will tiptoe onto this new sod at Giants Stadium and set up in the huddle with his offense, protected by this offensive line with Hank Fraley in the middle. Mayberry and Trey Thomas are headed to the Pro Bowl. Deuce Staley, a 1,000-yard season on the ground. Cecil Martin is fullback. Thrash and Freddie Mitchell, who's been a disappointment for these Eagles since being drafted in the first round out of UCLA, taking the place of Pinkston. In the backfield, a loss on the play, Staley. A loss of 3. Well, you know what's going on up front for the Giants defensively. At least Staley does. Holmes, Legree, Griffin, and Michael Strahan, so consistent, headed back to the Pro Bowl. Mike Barrow and Brandon Short with big games a week ago in Indianapolis, and Will Peterson back starting at cornerback across from Will Allen, Williams, and Stoutmeyer, the safeties. Play action from Feely. Middle of the field, and penalty flags and whistles. The play never happened. It's going to be procedure against Philadelphia.
And this is not exactly the kind of start that Andy Reid was hoping for with this football team. They're playing here today.
Before the ball was snapped, ball start, number 76, offense, 5 yards, repeat second down.
Is to come out and run the football and take some of the pressure off of A.J. Feely. He'd really love to be able to establish the run the way they did in the first meeting between these two football teams when the Eagles ran for 299 yards. Of course, a big chunk of that was Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we talked about. A.J. Feely playing in a hostile environment. There's going to be a lot of crowd noise at the line of scrimmage. He's got to be extra loud so they don't have any of those illegal procedure penalties like they had on the last play.
Second down and 18. Looks like the same play. Now it's a screen over the middle to Thomason, and the tight end rumbles forward for a first down. And Feely, wow.
Well, one of the things the Eagles know that everybody does to A.J. Feely is blitz them early. That time Brandon Short came on to blitz, and then the tight end just is going to release late off the field. So now what they're doing is anticipating blitzes. So Andy Reid with his play calling, this type of action should probably get the Giants out of those blitzes.
Look at A.J. Not exactly understated, as we saw in his first start against St. Louis at the Vet. That's Staley out of the backfield. Out of bounds just shy of the 20. And here are the Eagles, 3 plays already in field goal range, deep into Giants territory.
Well, the Eagles go to an empty backfield set. They spread out Deuce Staley. Omar Stoutmire is going to be the safety who is supposed to be covering him. He overplays it, thinks he's going to go outside. You see Omar right here. He misses the play. That gives Deuce Staley open field to run. That's just a missed assignment on Omar Stoutmire's part.
From just outside the 20, a double reverse, and it's Thrash with Feely in front of him. James Thrash, touchdown Eagles. What an opening drive for the 12-3 Philadelphia Eagles, right down the field and into the end zone.
Well, now you know why many people consider this to be the best team in football. In the first matchup between these two teams, the Eagles faked a lot of reverses and hit some runs against them right off tackle. Now, to begin this game, they come back with a double reverse, and it's just wide open for a touchdown.
Mitchell handing off to Thrash. The Eagles do a lot of this. And now we know why Andy Reid was smiling under that big mustache when we asked him if he has any tricks planned for the Giants today. The old double reverse.
I think that was one of them that he didn't tell us about last night.
So for the young quarterback Feely, an early lead here at Giant Stadium.
This Fox NFL special is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
Well, the Eagles couldn't wait to ask us what the condition of the grass was like at Giant Stadium. They were happy to hear that this place had been resodded a couple of weeks ago after the Giants game against Dallas. Who knows what it'll be like tomorrow for the Jets game against Green Bay, but look at what the Eagles did down on that floor as the Giants give up their first quarter points as far as a touchdown is concerned this season. Only a 4-play drive, 3 plays of 20 or more yards, and a penalty flag on the kick as Delvin Joyce takes it, gets to the 30, and that's it, but we'll check the flag. Back in the area of an offside on the kick. So we'll see if the Giants want to make Akers kick it again and hope for a better return. That ball hung up in the wind, and they may make them kick it again.
57 to the kicking team. 5 yards. Re-kick.
Yeah, I think you always take that because the kicking team, for whatever reason, seems to get a little worn out. Whenever they come running down the field the second time, you have a chance for a big play. Going back to the touchdown on the reverse, Troy, one of the things I think Andy Reid did so well on that drive, watch A.J. Feely getting a half a block there, was he took advantage of how hyped up and how aggressive the New York Giants came out in that first quarter. He knew they were going to be flying around, so he goes with the delay, he goes with the reverse, the quick dump off to Deuce Staley. He took advantage of their excitement.
He took advantage of that, and he also wants to be able to run the football to help take the pressure off of A.J. Feely in a game like this. And even though they didn't run it that much, obviously they got the reverse for the touchdown. They did throw the short, quick passes, which in Andy Reid's mind is an extended handoff. So he views those more as running plays than he does pass plays.
And this has really been what every single team has come out and tried to do to A.J. Feely. They've come out, tried to blitz him. He's made big plays early on, and then they've settled back into their game plan. And I think that's what you're going to see the Giants do as well. They really didn't blitz that much last week against Indianapolis, protected their secondary, and it worked out much better for them.
So after the offside penalty, it'll be Akers kicking away now from his 25. More of a line drive kick, actually better, and this is Delvin Joyce from about the 13-yard line. The better field position as Joyce makes a move and gets out near the 48. And it's David Akers who not only made the tackle, but gets up holding his shoulder and his left arm, was injured on the play to bring down Delvin Joyce.
Well, Well, we talked about it going into the kick. For whatever reason, when kickoff teams have to cover a second kick, inevitably you see big plays come out here. And if they end up with David Akers injured and unable to kick in this ball game, that is going to be a big, big play in the game.
And the good thing that Delvin Joyce does there, he gets right in behind Darryl Jones and doesn't waste any time getting up in the crease.
Kerry Collins will start with a throw and tipped and caught by Shockey. Hello, rookie. He's down near the 30. Shockey tips it to himself.
And it was good coverage by Carlos Emmons as well. It was just an outstanding throw and catch by Jeremy Shockey. He's isolated on Carlos Emmons, runs an option route. Carlos just unable to get a hand on the ball, and Shockey brings it in, and he's most dangerous. Once he gets the ball in his hands, he's thinking touchdown the entire way.
Only one catch short of Mark Navarro's Giants record for catches by a tight end, and Collins just happy to be able to get rid of it as he had pressure from Corey Simon. How about last week? We were there and watched him just dismantle the Indianapolis Colts and ended up with a perfect quarterback rating. That's what it looks like, 158.3, one of 2 perfect days for a quarterback this season.
And Kerry Collins feels like he's seeing the field very well, making good decisions and throwing with great accuracy. Comes into this game with great confidence.
2nd down and 10, and this is Tiki Barber. A lot of room to run. 1st down and more. Out of bounds inside the 10.
Rich Seibert, the left guard, is going to pull on this play, and he's not going to have anybody to block. They had a stunt down inside with Brandon Whiting, and there's simply nobody there. And Tiki Barber able to turn the corner and use his speed.
Yeah, it's always nice when the pulling offensive lineman, the first guy he comes in contact with is safety Michael Lewis. You know it's going to be a big game. And right now, both of these teams just going up and down the field, mixing in run and pass.
22 yards for Barber. 1st and goal. Tiki again. Same side. Got 2.5. Let's look at the offense for the Giants. The offensive line, as we talked about a week ago, is much better than anyone expected, including the quarterback Kerry Collins. And it's Bober in the middle. The backs and receivers, Tiki Barber over 1,000 yards on the season. Amani Toomer over 1,000 yards on the season. He's done it 4 consecutive years. Shockey is the much heralded tight end. 2nd and goal. Shockey tipped it, and it's picked off. Michael Lewis. Shockey got a hand on it, put it up in the air, and Michael Lewis comes down with his 1st interception.
Well, they come right back with Jeremy Shockey running the option route and then a pump move off of it. And he makes the release, but there's 2 guys there covering him. Kerry Collins tries forcing one in there. Bad decision on his part. Interception, Michael Lewis.
Philly with the ball and a 7-point lead. First play after the interception, it's a toss to Staley running right. And it's Will Allen who makes the final hit to force Staley back after a gain of 4. How about Kerry Collins? He throws an interception on 2nd and goal. His 1st interception in his last 129 attempts. That's a career high. And his 1st in 221 career attempts against the Eagles, which is an NFL record for the most attempts against an opponent without a pick.
And it was a huge mistake, Troy. There's no question about it. I mean, Kerry Collins now is a veteran quarterback. To have that kind of a screw up after that drive just sucks all the life right out of his football team.
That pass incomplete, broken up by Allen as he was defending against Freddie Mitchell.
Well, it's most definitely a game when you're playing in a big game like this and so much on the line. Games come down to who makes the fewest bad plays, and right there, this early in the ball game, the last thing you need to do is force one in, and I think Kerry Collins will be the first one to tell you that.
We saw him play so well in the championship game against the Minnesota Vikings, and everybody said, well, maybe now Kerry Collins has finally arrived. And then you come back the next week in the Super Bowl, and he has a real tough day. So he really needs to put some efforts back to back if he's ever going to be considered one of the premier quarterbacks.
3rd down, Thrash can't make a one-handed grab. They had Freddie Mitchell lined up on a linebacker, but could not take advantage of a matchup against Mike Barrow. And the incomplete pass makes it 3 and out for the Eagles.
And Freddie Mitchell making his second start over his career. He had one start last year as a rookie. Has not played that much unless they've gone to 4 wide receivers. They're going to need to get some production out of him today.
Second game for Lee Johnson, the 41-year-old. Decent punt, and it's Delvin Joyce. Nowhere to go. And Joyce is forced out of bounds at the 38. 40-yard punt, 2-yard return. And the Giants defense gets a 3 and out after the Collins interception.
I need a car. No, a convertible, a red one, with under 15,000 miles.
Autotrader.com. With 2 million new or used cars, you can find the one you really want. And with millions of shoppers, you can sell the one you already have. It's the ultimate automotive classified site. Autotrader.com. Your car is waiting. The 7-layer nachos from Taco Bell. So much flavor for so little price, you may perform the 7-flavor tango.
I don't think so.
Get all the flavor of 7 Intense taste stacked on golden chips. At just 99 cents, they're a value. Down to the very last bite.
Look, there's 2 left.
To get more flavor for 99 cents, think outside the bun.
You know what impossible means? Don't even try it. Impossible can't happen. Impossible says, what are you, crazy? That's impossible. But not anymore. Not since the playoffs. Now impossible is just a starting point. Impossible is a negotiation. Impossible means Tom Brady, a second-string quarterback drafted in the 6th round, can catapult millions into euphoria. That's the magnitude of the playoffs. They've changed the English language. They've made impossible possible.
Don't miss a note.
The Eagles' hope is that in a couple of weeks, when their playoffs begin, Donovan McNabb is ready to go. In the meantime, A.J. Feely is playing, and he and the Eagles have a 7-point first-quarter lead. Starting from their own 38, play action from Collins, and over the middle, it's Tiki Barber, who is ripped down immediately by Sean Barber, and a gain of 4. Let's look at the defense for Philadelphia. They have a Pro Bowler up front, and his name is Hugh Douglas. The linebackers, Levon Kirkland, the big guy in the middle. His weight is the great unknown. And the defensive backs, Dawkins, Lewis, Vincent, Taylor. 3 of the 4 headed to the Pro Bowl. The others, the rookie Lewis, taking the place of Blaine Bishop, who's still out with a bad groin. Tiki Barber. Obviously, the Giants like running right today against the Eagles. They've done it so far in this first quarter without testing the other side. A gain of 3 and a 3rd down coming up for New York.
Everybody talks about this Eagles defense, and with Jim Johnson, their defensive coordinator, people think they just blitz all the time, and yet really what we've seen this year out of them is that they're much more satisfied just staying with that 4-man rush and playing some coverage back there. It's been a different sort of style for Jim Johnson this year.
3rd down and 3. Collins flush, dumps it off, and it's incomplete. And it's Tiki Barber looking for a flag, and big Levon Kirkland swallowed him up over the middle of the field.
Levon Kirkland certainly not known for his cover skills. You see him, number 93, right here in the middle. He's going to be taking Tiki Barber on. Normally they're going to put Sean Barber on him, but the big man Levon Kirkland does a nice job.
He didn't have a chance. He had double coverage, the official and Levon Kirkland.
Matt Allen back for his first punt. Brian Mitchell, one of the best ever, waiting deep. Beautiful punt. Mitchell lets it go over his head, and it trickles into the end zone. So A.J. Feely back to work. Eagles up by 7 here at the Meadowlands. Welcome back. Pleasant day, all things considered, on the 28th of December here in the New York area. It's worth bringing up early that the decision for the Eagles and Andy Reid will be made at least much more interesting at the quarterback position should A.J. Feely come in here and have a big game and help the Eagles beat the Giants at Giant Stadium. He started out well, and he hits his tight end Chad Lewis, who has a first down.
One of the big battles in this game today is Michael Strahan going against John Runyon. Strahan has had 7.5 sacks in the last 3 games against Runyon. But Troy, this field is so bad out here. We've seen a lot of divots flying already. I think for a speed guy like Strahan, it's a disadvantage going in trying to pass rush.
It definitely neutralizes those speed rushers on both sides of the ball.
First down, Philadelphia. And the handoff is to Staley. He doesn't get anything. And it's Stoutmeyer, the free safety, who ends up ripping him down. But Chris, I know you have feelings on the quarterback situation. And should Feely come in here and play a big game at Giant Stadium and help the Eagles win and secure home field advantage, 2 weeks from now, the Eagles' first playoff game, nobody's saying that A.J. Feely over the long term is going to take over for Donovan McNabb. But if you have a rusty McNabb who hasn't played in 8 weeks, coming back in a big playoff game, and Feely has this team rolling, it's not a clear-cut decision. Second down and 10. A.J. lets it go, and it's right in the gut of Antonio Freeman, who can't hang on. 3rd and 10.
And I think you have to take that a step further as well, because if McNabb doesn't have his mobility, is he really and truly the best quarterback for this football team? Because it's just a pure passer. Coy Detmer, A.J. Feely, probably about in the same category as Donovan McNabb. And Andy Reid really let us know last night that the decision has not been made as to what they're going to do. It depends on how McNabb is.
Well, I think that'll play itself out at the end of this ball game.
3rd down and 10. This is Dorsey Levens. And Dorsey is brought down shy of a first down by 2 yards. Omar Stoutmeyer up to make the tackle.
That's a great example right there by Andy Reid. Wanted to take some of that pressure off of A.J. Feely. 3rd and long on the road. Come back, hand the ball off, punt the ball, and live to play another down.
And this Giants defense really has a bit of an advantage without McNabb in the game, because typically whenever McNabb plays, they had to play a spy. So it's almost like they've got an additional guy on the defensive side because they don't have to spy Feely.
No penalty flag, and that's of the Giants' interest, as it was 4th down and a couple. This is Delvin Joyce. Little Delvin Joyce. Penalty flag on this return, and Joyce is brought down as he crossed the 30. But a penalty flag, and it looks like this will cost New York some yards. Ron Blum is our referee today, and it's against the Giants.
Legal block in the back. Number 45, the return team. 10 yards, first down, timeout.
So the ball is placed at the 15. That's where the Giants set up as they trail by 7. Again, a win today, and they're in the playoffs. Andy Reid in that offense went right down the field in 4 plays off the opening kickoff and put it in the end zone on a double reverse. The Giants went back down the field at 2nd and goal, and Collins threw an interception. Now Collins hands to Tiki Barber, who again runs to the right side, and Barber picked up 3.
Well, I think the reason they're running to the right side is they're running away from Hugh Douglas, and Hugh Douglas is getting to the point now where he's saying, okay, you're going to run over there? I'll show you how fast I am. Just going to sprint down the backside and make the play. He really is the dominant player on that defensive line, both against the run and the pass, and he really gave Luke Pettigrew, the left tackle for the Giants, a nightmare of a game last time these two got together. That's the significant matchup up front.
Hugh used to call this place home when he was with the Jets, traded to Philadelphia. Collins waiting, and now he has Toomer. Amani Toomer out to midfield.
Really great patience by Kerry Collins, letting the play develop. Amani Toomer on your left side of the screen. Goes by Bobby Taylor, and Kerry Collins does a great job of being patient and fitting the ball in the hole prior to the safety, getting over the top, Ryan Dawkins.
One of the problems that Bobby Taylor has as a corner, he's 6'3", he's a big guy, doesn't have exceptionally quick feet for those double moves.
Patience for a quarterback equals good offensive line play. And again, it's Tiki Barber trying a cutback after starting out to the right, and a loss of 1 on the play. You know, the footing is horrible out there, Troy.
The footing is bad. You talked about how they resodded it a couple of weeks ago. I was down on the field prior to the game. It is very loose, and as you can see right there, these guys with cleats that are trying to push off, they're just not getting any kind of footing. And on that last play, you see Tiki Barber running to the right like he did a couple plays earlier where Hugh Douglas ran him down. I don't think you can run laterally against this defense. You've got to run right at people.
Second down and 11. Trying to set up a screen. Barber couldn't get open, so Collins pulls it down and runs. And a gain of 1 on the play, and that's rare, as Collins this season has run it 39 times for negative 10 yards now after that 1-yard gain.
Yeah, he's not going to dazzle anybody with his mobility, that's for sure, but yet he can be effective enough right there to get something out of nothing. And I don't know that we can say enough about this Giants offensive line and the job that they've done. And so far early in this game, they've not given up a lot of pressure to Kerry Collins. And this is an Eagles defensive front that comes into this game having been on a real roll, getting to the opposing quarterbacks for sacks.
Number 2 defense, as Collins can't handle the snap out of the shotgun, able to fall on top of it. And it's time for New York to punt.
And the Giants really have been able to move the football against this top-notch Philadelphia Eagles defense, but they just keep making mistake after mistake after mistake. And to be perfectly frank about it, it's been Kerry Collins. You'd think that coming off of the game that he had last week, he'd be full of confidence with the huge interception in the end zone and a big play on 3rd down there.
Matt Allen. Mitchell will let it go. And it'll be tapped down near the 15-yard line. Simmons the one who ends up with it. Well, tomorrow they're going to be playing on this field again. It's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. The early big game, the Falcons at the Browns in the playoffs, right out in front of the Atlanta Falcons. And then it's a matchup of Brett Favre and Chad Pennington tomorrow on this field. The Packers at the Jets. Dick Stockton and Daryl Johnston will be on hand for that game, and that's at 4 Eastern. And a comparison of the 2 quarterbacks, and everybody around the league is starting to become aware of Chad Pennington.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, and he's done a great job coming in off the bench early in the season and leading this team into some meaningful football games here in December.
On 1st down, Feely throws, and he has his running back Staley. Minimal gain on the play, 4 yards. Stahani Jones, a linebacker, made the tackle.
It's interesting. That's about the 3rd time they've run that bootleg back to the right-hand side with Feely. And I think part of the reason that they're doing it is they're able to get some extra protection on Michael Strahan. You notice they're not moving him outside the pocket, but they're double teaming with the tight ends, and they're helping on Strahan.
Second and 6. That's Levens. He got 1.
Boy, speaking of Michael Strahan, that was a great play right there. The Eagles like to run the ball to the right behind John Runyon. However, if you're going to go that way, you're going to be running right into Michael Strahan, and that is the run defense strength of the New York Giants. Just sheds Runyon and makes the tackle.
And Michael Strahan is a guy who has had a tremendous amount of success working against John Runyon over recent years.
Fourth down. Good coverage by Will Allen, who lets the world know about it.
One of the things the Giants are going to try and do today is to free up Michael Strahan, obviously. That time they went with that Bears look up front, Troy. Somebody, 1, 2, 3, covering up the centers and the guards so that they can't come out and help on Michael.
Another Lee Johnson experience for the Eagles. Beautiful punt. Delvin Joyce started at the 30 and ends up at about the 30. And Sheldon Brown, one of the Eagles' high draft picks, is down the field to make the stop. So 1:03 remaining in the first quarter, and the Giants get it back, trailing by 7.
And here comes a confidence moment for the New York Giants. They've made mistakes throughout the course of this first quarter. Maybe they're a little nervous, a little jittery with all that's on the line here today, but now they need to get something pieced together and build a little confidence. This is an offense that's been tremendous. 110 points the last 3 games. To put that in perspective, their first 7 games, they only had 89 points.
That's what they've done the first 3 times they've handled the football. This is Tiki Barber, who gets out to the 33. Couple of the miscues so far. The early interception in the hands of Michael Lewis on 2nd and goal. And then on 3rd and long, Perry Collins pulled away too quickly out of the shotgun.
Yeah, and the big one is the interception, obviously, down there, not being able to come away with points. This is a defense that you're not going to consistently move the ball down the field on. You've got to get points when you have the chance.
2nd and 8, and Stackhouse. And the fullback is wrestled out of bounds at the 36 by Carlos Emmons.
Charles Stackhouse is a good receiving fullback. He's average at best, I would say, as a blocking fullback. A young guy still trying to learn his way around the league. Caught a touchdown last week. But he is a guy coming out of the backfield, is a weapon.
4 offensive plays into this game from the Philadelphia Eagles, and they had a 7-0 lead. And that's the way the first quarter will come to a close. The Giants with the ball down by a touchdown. This Fox NFL special will continue after these messages. A.J. Feely talking with Donovan McNabb. Feely will tell you the guy who's humped him the most is Coy Detmer. 3rd down and 3. Opening seconds of the second quarter. Out of the backfield for a first down, it's Barber.
Well, this is one of the things that the Giants do very, very well within their passing game. You watch Tiki Barber come back off of play action, and he does a great job of coming out, working against a linebacker. The linebacker there, actually, N.D. Kalu, does not know whether or not he's going to break to the outside or the inside. It's a mismatch, and that's an easy 3rd down conversion.
10 yards for Barber on that play, and a first down for the Giants. That had an odd look. Barber ends up running right, able to turn the corner, and makes a nice gain out of a play that had an awkward start to it.
Well, it actually looked like it may be a busted play, but it's actually not. They want to make it look like it's going to start to the right, then bring it left. But because there was nothing there, Tiki Barber then brought it back to the right side of the field. And I tell you, he's got a tremendous ability to stop and cut. And rarely do you see Tiki Barber just run out of bounds. He's always looking to get the extra yards.
That's the old Bo Jackson play there, because teams would over-pursue so quickly, they just pitch it to him, let him stop, and reverse his field.
Total yards, a franchise record for Barber, and that's shocking. Like he nearly lost the football, able to hang on, and he's brought down just shy of a first down.
And Jeremy Shockey coming off a huge game last week, 7 receptions, over 100 yards. Leads all tight ends with over 60 receptions this season. And when you talk about a guy who's made a real difference for their ball club, I don't know that you can point to anybody other than Jeremy Shockey. He has opened so many things up for these other players, Tiki Barber, Amani Toomer, and he's just been a great player for this football team in his rookie season.
3rd down and 1. Barber tripped up from behind. Sean Barber the first to get there. Emmons was there to help. That'll bring up a 4th down. And that'll bring on the punt team for the Giants.
And again, they're trying to run that stretch play out to the left side, and 3rd and short yardage. I'd like to see him go a little bit more straight at this defense. Sean Barber working in between the offensive line, able to pursue it and make the tackle.
9 career touchdown returns for Brian Mitchell. And he won't get to this one as it takes a bounce and goes out of bounds at the 23. Crowd getting on this Giants team a bit. They trail by 7. This is the 30th anniversary of that perfect season for the 1972 Miami Dolphins, and I would imagine a lot of football fans in my generation are aware that Earl Morrall took the Dolphins through the better part of that season, taking the place of the injured Bob Greasy in Week 5. As A.J. Feely hands to Deuce Staley, Staley gets up to the 26-yard line. The interesting thing about that is the Dolphins and Shula had picked up Morrall the earlier spring for about $100, and Greasy went down in the 5th game. Morrall took them all the way through the first playoff game, and it wasn't until the AFC Championship game against Terry Bradshaw's Steelers that Greasy came off the bench to take over for Morrall, who was on a short leash. It's A.J. Feely at the controls with Donovan McNabb and Coy Detmer watching from the sidelines. On 2nd down and 7, and Feely fires complete. That's a first down for Philadelphia as Freddie Mitchell gets up after making the catch.
And Freddie Mitchell, he does not lack in confidence. He's not gotten to play much this season, as we talked about, but he's still a guy who very much believes in his abilities. Looking forward to the opportunity of starting in this game today and showing what he could do. Makes a nice play there, and we saw a graphic a little bit earlier about the Eagles only being down for 9 minutes in a game since Donovan going down with injury. That was early in the game against Seattle. And it's much easier to play quarterback when you're playing with a lead than it is when you're playing from behind.
Staley with a throw back to Feely. And Feely just covers up. So more trickery from the Eagles.
Joe, this is the same exact play that the Giants ran last week and threw the 82-yard touchdown pass. They've got the trickery going, going to hand it off, throw it back across the grain to Feely, the exact play. And there was a bit of an opening coming across the field, and Feely just can't get his hands on the ball. Maybe the first sign of nerves out of that young man. And Andy Reid is known for his trick plays. He likes them. They're a basic part of his offense, and he's going to keep running.
2nd down and 17. After that loss of 7 and over the middle, Staley can make the catch. Just thinking about last week in Indianapolis as you watch the play develop with Barber throwing it back to Collins, this is the way the play's supposed to look. Toomer said, I didn't think the play would work because our defense in practice always sees this play coming, and they did on that last play, even with A.J. Feely not making the reception from Staley.
Well, outside of A.J. Feely not catching the football on that play, let me tell you another reason why it worked last week. They were doing it in a dome. It's a little bit harder to do in these conditions here at the Meadowlands.
3rd down and 17. And a handoff for a changeup. It's Levens. Not much yardage in time for the Eagles to punt. And just to finish up the point about the 72 Dolphins and what is to come, and as you said, Troy, both on the air and off the air, a lot will be answered after this game depending on the sort of game that A.J. Feely has today, looking at the possible return of Donovan McNabb. But in that AFC Championship game, Greasy was good enough to play, but Morrall started on a short leash. Greasy came in, won that game, then won the Super Bowl. There is a formula there from the winningest coach in NFL history, Don Shula, that you could go that way and put Feely on a short leash or Detmer and have McNabb ready for relief. This is Delvin Joyce from inside the 20, and he's been a good return man for the Giants this season. Talk about that point when we come back. As the Giants get it back, they trail by 7. Troy, I know you were itching to jump in about that 72 Dolphins example that I threw out before the break.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that the Dolphins won. They won when Greasy came in and played, and if the Eagles win, regardless of who's the quarterback, it will be the right decision. If they don't, it's going to be the wrong one.
Collins over the middle, the ball's in the air, and it drops incomplete. That's Campbell, Dan Campbell, who could not make the connection. Let's go back to week 8 in October. Hugs all around, but there weren't any hugs after this hit that ended the season for Ike Hilliard. The hit came from Dawkins. Stackhouse fumbling on the one that really changed the complexion of the game, and Donovan McNabb had over 100 yards on the ground. It was a 17-3 loss, and shortly thereafter, Jim Fossil took over calling the plays for the Giants.
And Brian Dawkins got fined $50,000 for that hit, but the hit was a lot more expensive for the New York Giants. They lost Ike Hilliard for the year.
Sean Barber, the injured Eagle, getting attention as we take a break. Well, good to see Barber get up and be able to walk off the field after an awkward hit on Campbell.
Anytime you lead with that head and the momentum carries right into you, there's neck injuries and the stingers that incur. Hopefully he'll be back in the game.
Ike Reese is his backup. He takes over at 2nd down and 10. And it's Tiki Barber. Carlos Emmons with friends there to make the stop, and that'll bring up a 3rd down after a gain of 4.
One of the things about this Giants offense that they've had a lot of success lately with is playing with their 3 stars, Amani Toomer and Tiki Barber and Jeremy Shockey, sort of like Phil Jackson with that triangle offense with the Lakers. Just keep getting the ball in their hands. So far we've seen throws to Dan Campbell, to Charles Stackhouse. That's not what has gotten this team to where it is today. That's not the reason they've been scoring so many points.
3rd down and 6, and the Eagles show blitz. Don't come. Collins has Barber. 1st down. Pretty throw from Kerry Collins to hit Barber in stride.
Yeah, and Tiki Barber back when the Giants, they were on a 9-game winning streak against this Eagles team prior to losing the last 3. But when they were having success against the team, the guy who really hurt them the most was Tiki Barber, and not so much running the football, but being able to come out of the backfield and catch passes. That's one of the reasons why they moved Barry Gardner to middle linebacker, and they had Mike Caldwell last year. This year they have Sean Barber, that time Carlos Emmons, but he's very difficult to cover coming out of the backfield.
On 1st down, more Tiki Barber. And a gain of 3 on the play.
One of the things that we've expected to see here today is the mismatch on the early downs, that being Jeremy Shockey working the middle of the field against Levon Kirkland. Levon Kirkland is a big, very good run-playing middle linebacker. What he doesn't do well is play in space, and so far they have not taken advantage of that mismatch.
But is it realistic, Troy, to think that Kirkland will end up on Shockey today?
Well, they're going to do everything they can in their power to make sure that that doesn't happen.
2nd down and 7. The outlet valve is Barber, and the throws behind him wasn't much there anyway. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, and one of the things they do right there in order to try to get that matchup is they bring Amani Toomer, motion him down inside. He's now going to take the middle of the field between the hashes, and then it's Levon Kirkland who he's going to be matched up on. Jeremy Shockey, he's getting attention on the outside. You see, even Bobby Taylor as a corner is coming in to help. He's playing the outside. They're in and out with Bobby Taylor, and Levon Kirkland had a chance for Amani Toomer inside.
And Shockey's saying throw the football. We're playing off either side of Levon Kirkland. Either throw it to Toomer, throw it to me. It's there.
3rd down and 7, blitz. They picked up Emmons, and the throw is caught by Toomer. A Pro Bowl snub for Amani Toomer. A huge game a week ago, and a big catch on 3rd down there.
Well, the offensive line does a great job of picking up the blitz. It's one of the few times today that the Eagles have sold out with the blitz off the slot. Kerry Collins makes room for the throw, and then Amani Toomer on the end of this play does a nice job of using his body, shielding the defender, and going up and making the catch.
Did you see Dan Campbell come all the way across the formation there and pick up that blitz? What a great play.
Collins hit from behind and dropped. Hugh Douglas.
And that's the mismatch we talked about earlier in the game. Luke Pettigrew simply no match for Hugh Douglas in the first ball game. And here once again, just the speed and the power of Douglas coming around the corner. Kerry Collins never had a chance.
And that's Hugh Douglas's 6th sack in the last 5 ball games, and really has just done an outstanding job. In fact, that whole defensive front has done a good job of getting pressure on the quarterback and just use pure strength and speed to get by Luke Pettigrew on that play.
And I think the speed is something that Pettigrew can handle. I think it's the strength that's really been the problem in playing against Hugh Douglas.
Play clock was down to 3 seconds, so Kerry Collins spends the first timeout of this first half. 6:12 left. Second and long for the Giants after the timeout.
Well, here's the triangle we talked about. These 3 guys right here are going to have to get it done. The rest of the team minus 3 yards.
You know, and they have been getting it done. And Jim Fossil told us yesterday that, hey, we've only got 1 wide receiver. And I said, yeah, but you've got a running back and you've got a great tight end in Jeremy Shockey. And that formula for the Dallas Cowboys when I was playing won us 3 Super Bowls. So they've got plenty of arsenal out on the field.
Second down and 18. The Eagles came across early. They're going to blow the play dead.
I know Kerry was hoping they'd let that play go. Usually you get a free play on that and take a shot down the field.
Must have been contact made as the Eagles jumped across the line. It's really unusual that you have a player on the field that's essentially just a total decoy, but the other wide receiver for the New York Giants, Darryl Jones, is just window dressing on the outside.
Super zone infraction. Nose tackle of the defense, moved across the line of scrimmage, causing an offensive player to move off of his stance. 5 yards, repeat second down.
You know, I know this, that if you've got a great wide receiver, which they have in Amani Toomer, I would much rather have my second guy be a great tight end than not have a tight end and make it another wide receiver. You can just create so many mismatches inside with a guy like Jeremy Shockey that can move, and that's what they've been able to do with the Giants this year.
Collins, middle of the field. Shockey, penalty flag on the play as Shockey makes the catch inside the 10. Hugh Douglas is slow in getting up. Simon is still down on a knee, and we'll check the marker. It's against Philadelphia.
Well, Corey Simon was the first as soon as he hit the ground to turn around and signal that he was being held.
Number 98 defense. The penalties decline. First down.
But how good is Jeremy Shockey, Troy? He's out there working against a Pro Bowl cornerback in Troy Vincent. This guy has wide receiver ability.
Well, that's exactly right. And that's another reason why I would prefer a great tight end. And he just gives you so many options lining up as he did there in the tight end position. But they're also able to move him around. And as you see there, he just sent a Giants record held previously by Mark Bavaro. That's pretty good company.
A very different type tight end than Mark Bavaro was. First down and goal. And that's Barber getting half a yard.
I think
Manis on the stop.
Excuse me, Joe. One of the things with Jeremy Shockey that I think more than even his physical talent is the attitude that he's brought to this offense. Just the ability to run over defenders, as we saw in that Colts game last weekend. Safety David Gibson. They've always been bad guys on the defensive side of the ball, but sort of finesse guys on the offense. And now he brings that same sort of attitude to this Giant offense.
He brings some real toughness to that group.
On second down, Collins, Stackhouse. Touchdown, but a penalty flag. It's a hold, and it's coming back. A penalty against the Giants will erase the touchdown.
Well, here we go again with the Giants' mistakes in key situations. They've been moving the football up and down the field.
Number 78 offense, 10 yards. Repeat second down.
Yeah, that's on Mike Rosenthal, and you're right. They got down there earlier. They failed to capitalize with the turnover. Now they got Mike Rosenthal after a touchdown pass to Stackhouse, and it's going to come back. And
that's terrible. That's just not a hold. That's a defensive lineman that loses his footing, and Mike Rosenthal just throws him to the ground. It costs the Giants a touchdown. Just horrible.
second down and goal from outside the 15. Collins to Barber. Another penalty flag on the play. And Shockey is indicating it's against the Eagles.
Yeah, Jeremy Shockey, he's pretty easy to read as far as what he's thinking out on the field. He's feeling as though he was held.
Illegal contact, number 51 defense, 5 yards. It's an automatic first down.
And these Eagles linebackers are really having a tough time trying to keep up with Tiki Barber. That time, Carlos Emmons, it was just barely beyond that 5 yards, but it was beyond 5 yards.
And I don't know if Jeremy Shockey doesn't start selling it to the official if he's going to get the call, but he was able to, and he got it.
So now it's a first down from the 11.
And now Shockey's lining up out wide.
First and goal. It's first down, and that's Darryl Jones. A little move, and he's brought down at the 3.
One of the things that Darryl Jones can do, he's a little guy, and so on this field, on a bad field, he's able to get in and out of cuts very quickly. That time he came in with a little arrow route, ran right at the linebacker and arrowed back out of it, and one of the few guys today I've seen make that kind of a cut without slipping and falling down.
Yeah, and how about this drive that the Giants are currently on and what they've overcome? They overcame the big sack. They had the third down conversion on 3rd and long. They've overcome the penalty. Now they're in position to get it in the end zone.
They even got a catch from a window dresser. Now Barber loses the football. First of all, Barber slipped as he was trying to get to Collins for the handoff, and then the ball came out. And at the bottom of that scrum, we'll see who comes up with it.
Well, that's right. It doesn't matter who had it to begin with. It's just fight for your life down there right now, whoever comes up with it.
And I just don't know how much longer the New York Giants organization can keep this football field here. I mean, it really is time for field turf or something, because this is just, for a championship caliber game, these players deserve better than what they have out there on that field.
Well, each side saying they have it. And they're still pulling bodies off the pile. Kirkland was the one who got his hand in there and stripped it.
Well, these officials just need to get in there and take control of this thing.
And it belongs to the Eagles. So another red zone turnover for the Giants.
Philadelphia, first down.
That's very similar to what happened in their first meeting when they were able to penetrate inside the 10-yard line and not come away with points. They've done it twice now today. Turnovers on each occasion.
And that was Levon Kirkland, who was able to dive and strip that football away from Tiki Barber, who was a little off balance because of the slip, just trying to fight to control the ball, and then Kirkland raked it out of there. And I don't know who came away with that ball, whether it was Brandon Whiting or who, but whoever it is, for him to maintain control at the bottom of that pile, he's a man.
The Eagles give it to Staley. He gets out to the 6.
Well, the Giants just have to be kicking themselves right now. They've been just marching the ball up and down the field, and every time they get in the red zone, they make a huge mistake.
Brandon Whiting, who came away with the fumble. And the Giants have had those 3 red zone turnovers. The other belongs to Stackhouse in that Monday night game. 2nd and 8. And no surprise, Troy, that deep near their own end zone, Andy Reid is not putting the ball in the hands of A.J. Feely, but trying to run and get a little breathing room.
Yeah, no question. And not surprisingly that the Giants are calling timeout so that they can get the ball back, provided they hold them here on this 3rd down in good field position and a chance to try to get points before this half ends.
I'm really surprised the Eagles haven't tried to take a shot at Will Peterson yet. He's been banged around, has the knee injury, had a concussion, stinger, toe injury, all these different things, and yet he's been sitting on the outside after missing last week's ball game, and they haven't taken one single shot at him. They haven't even looked his way.
Yeah, in fact, when we talked with Andy Reid yesterday, he was saying that of the guys we would like to go after would be Jason Sehorn. If they can get him on the field as the third corner, they never even mentioned Will Peterson and maybe attacking him because of the injuries that you mentioned.
My guess is at most, if they're going to throw the football, it's going to be a screen or something very, very safe here.
3rd and 7. Empty backfield, quick throw, Mitchell, it was behind him.
And A.J. Feely told me yesterday that the play that he likes throwing the most is that slant route. He feels that he can really drive it in there. That's not a good throw. It's on his back shoulder and unable to make the catch, but he had a chance had he been able to get it to him to get the first down.
And I think Freddie Mitchell deserves a little bit of the blame on that one. Coming out of the cut, you don't have to go flying out of that cut. There was an opening right there. Just make it easy on your quarterback. Get your body big, make the catch.
Probably a reason why he hasn't played much this year.
Punting with the wind is Lee Johnson. Delvin Joyce. Nothing on the return, but good field position nonetheless after the short punt by Johnson. Only 33 yards. The ball will be placed at the 44. On New Year's Day, Chris Sims leads Texas for the final time as the 9th-ranked Longhorns take on the LSU Tigers in the 67th SBC Cotton Bowl Classic. Kickoff 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox.
How about that game for LSU this year against Kentucky? Remember that Hail Mary? They'd already dumped the water bucket on top of the coach. And
That's
came back in the last play. 70 yards over the top.
How do you pull that one back?
Trying to set up a screen to Shockey. Wow. And it is well played by Emmons, who's been shadowing Shockey all day.
Well, and that's the screen that the Giants ran last week against Indianapolis. Got the ball in Shockey's hands and let him run. And when he ran over that safety, but Carlos Emmons, he closes hard on this one, gets by the blockers, is able to make a play. Luke Pettigrew, he's too fast for him.
Boy, was that some play by Emmons. Really an underrated player on this defense. Never gets a whole lot of credit.
The 2-minute warning hits. They'll put 2 minutes on the clock, and the Giants face a 2nd and long when we return. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have an update on what the playoff picture looks like and a preview of the Chiefs and Raiders. That game's coming up later today. Boy, these New York Giants have piled up 175 yards on this number 2 ranked defense of the Eagles, but have been shut out so far in the first half. And this is why.
Keep an eye on N.D. Kalu right here. He's a pass rushing specialist coming off this end now.
2nd down and 16. There was Kalu, who was cut down, and there's Shockey, who falls down at the 45, and it'll be 3rd and long for the Giants.
Yeah, I don't know that he would have gotten much more on the play, but he did bobble the ball, but he also slipped. And you see there the turf just coming up, and as this game progresses, it's going to become more and more of a factor in this game.
And again tomorrow, the Jets and the Packers will try to navigate this field in the late game on Fox. 3rd and 11. Eagles showing blitz. They come, and Collins still on his feet. Banged down inside the 40. And that play may do one thing. It may give the Giants a chance to go for it on 4th down.
It's a great point, Joe. They are in a position right now they cannot kick the field goal, but I would think that they're going to try to pick up the first down.
What a play by Garrett Collins. Bobby Taylor just had both arms wrapped around him him, and somehow he sneaks out of there and puts him down into a 4th and about 4 situation. I mean, I don't think Bobby Taylor can believe it. He said, I've got him, I'm swinging him around, and it's Kerry Collins, and we all know quarterbacks aren't very athletic anyway, and I can't get him to the ground.
Pretty much universal knowledge. One thing is, though, Kerry Collins is about 50 pounds heavier than what old Bobby Taylor is, and it bounced off him, but you're right. A real athletic play by Kerry Collins, just escaping that rush and then being able to pick up some yards.
So that'll bring up a 4th down and 3, and that's exactly what the Giants will do. They will go for it, and again, you point out that the Giants have been able to move the football, but mistakes today, and you know what they'll talk about at halftime. Jim Fossil eliminate those mistakes, and now after bringing the offense on the field, the crowd reacts because they switch and bring their punter, Matt Allen, onto the field.
Yeah, and I don't know that I really agree with this. I'd have a little more confidence in my defense that if I didn't make it, we could keep them from getting points. I think right now is the time to try to make this 1st down.
See if the Giants try and draw the Eagles offside. They tried, they didn't bite. Ball takes a Giants bounce. It will be down near the 12. These fans are frustrated with that decision, and I don't blame them.
Me too. I don't like that at all. You've got a football team. You're playing for a spot in the playoffs, and you've got to show a little bit of confidence in your guys there.
The mistakes that have happened for the Giants in the red zone. They've turned the ball over twice. The first on the tip, and then the interception by Michael Lewis. And then after having a touchdown erased because of a questionable at best holding call, Tiki Barber lost his footing, then lost the football, and the Giants have been shut out in the first half.
Yeah, Jim Fossil's done a great job empowering these players to make plays, but the guys who've been making the plays in previous weeks are the 2 guys that have not made them today, Kerry Collins and Tiki Barber.
Well, plus you just kind of suck all the life out of your football team is in that sort of give-up situation, punt the football. Now you're going to go in at halftime and try and convince your guys, come on, guys, let's get it going, let's get it fired up. Well, coach, if you wanted to get us fired up, let's go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, I think at times you got to show a little confidence in your team, and yes, the crowd is getting a little bit restless right now. They handed out 65,000 towels for them to wave, and they haven't had a chance to wave it.
Good way to keep your hands warm, at least, on a cold day in the Meadowlands. James Thrash, the only touchdown of the day on a double reverse. And the first half comes to a close here at Giant Stadium. 7-0, the Eagles on top, trying to secure home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the NFC. The Giants trying to win to get in the playoffs. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. Right after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Well, NYGvPHI2002wk17 is undefeated as the Eagles starting quarterback. Kerry Collins has been on a roll and only 7 points, and the points were scored early. Let's go down to the field and check in with Pam Oliver.
Okay, Joe, even though the field is terrible, Andy Reid is not blaming that for their problems in the passing game. He said our receivers have just plain had too many drops, and they have to do a better job in the second half. One other interesting note, Eagles linebacker Carlos Emmons has warned his teammates to look out for Jeremy Shockey. He says he feels like Shockey is trying to bait them into some penalties. Jim Fossil obviously upset about those turnovers in the red zone. He says those mistakes have really cost us. He feels if they can get the running game going and protect their quarterback, they'll be all right in the second half. Back to you.
All right, Pam. Well, Shockey was actually flagged for a little bit of that extracurricular stuff in the Monday night game. I'll ask the dumb question, what do you expect to see in the second half?
I expect to see a lot of the same. I think what the Giants are doing is working. They've just got to hang on to the football and can't turn it over when they get down inside the red zone.
I really think they have to change a little bit. They have to come back and work the middle of the field. What we've seen is Tiki Barber and Shockey being able to work against those guys inside, but you have to throw it on early downs to be effective when you have Kirkland in the game.
David Akers suffered a stinger early in the game. We haven't seen him since then, making a tackle on that kickoff return. Eagles offense has had only one play inside Giant territory, yet they lead 7-0. Delvin Joyce takes it from the 2. Penalty flag on the return. So another flag, and you would think it's against the Giants, and it is. So Joyce is doing all he can, but getting a little too much help from some of his teammates on these returns.
And the penalties aren't helping him either. I mean, we talked about the turnovers, the penalty earlier on Rosenthal, and we got the penalty here, which negates some great field position to open up this second half.
And how crazy would it make you as an offensive player?
Illegal block in the back above the waist. Number 59 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
To see guys like Kevin Lewis blocking the back in this situation, I mean, as an offense, I don't even care. Just give me the ball on the 20-yard line. But don't do something dumb like that and give us the ball on the 9.
That's where it is, as the Giants offense sets up with 188 total yards on the day, compared to 128 for the Eagles. Start with a run, and it's Tiki Barber trying to run it up the gut, and he gets out to the 11, a gain of 2. Let's look at some of the other stats from the first half. Rushing yardage, passing yardage, total yards. However, the turnovers have been killers for the Giants. Time of possession, the Giants have led in every category, but that third from the bottom is the one that's crushed them.
Well, and the other one, which shows you the New York Giant defense doing a pretty good job, is right here. Not getting the Eagles, allowing them to convert on third downs. That's big.
Which makes for all the more reason why they should have gone for that fourth down, because your Giants defense was doing it.
Absolutely.
Shockey was split out wide to the left, and that's Tiki Barber. He stretches forward and brought down right at the first down marker. We'll see where they place it. We're going to have a measurement.
Well, they're going to come out and measure, and if they have not gotten the first down on this play, one of the problems with this Giants offense, they've done a lot of good things over recent weeks. One area where they have really struggled is third and short.
Well, if you think third and short, Giants fans think of Ron Dane, who hasn't been on the field. He's the other running back with Tiki Barber, and they are going to be faced with third and less than 1.
Well, he's still got his jacket on. That's Ron Dane right here. Last week in the Indianapolis ball game, Ron Dane had opportunities to come in and pick up these third and 1 situations. He failed on a number of occasions. They're not going to give him that opportunity today.
And he's earned the right to be right there in this situation. And Tiki Barber is your guy. He's your MVP of the team, I believe, this year. He's earned the right to get this football in this situation.
And it is Barber. And it is a first down.
Well, he got the first down because of the second effort there. At initial contact, he was not yet across the line for the first down, and it goes back again. They want to run that wide stretch play, and when the line defensively is moving laterally, it does not create a lot of holes when the defenders are staying in their gaps. Makes it very tough. Great effort by Tiki Barber to pick up that first down.
Philadelphia Eagles trying to win 13 games for the first time in franchise history. Trying to go 12-0 in the NFC Conference play and 6-0 in their division. There's another mistake as Kerry Collins ends up having to fall on the football. Put the big top over this ball.
I'll tell you what, this is week 16, 16th game of the season, and you're fumbling balls like this, I mean, there's no excuse for it.
Loss of a couple on the play. We have a heater malfunction, which gets your guy on camera. Butch, what's his name?
Butch is security. There he is. This is Butch.
He always finds his way into your living room. Second down and 11. That's Shockey. The football comes out, but they're blowing the play dead. And Shockey is brought down right at the first down marker. He got 12.
There it is. That's what we've been waiting to see all day. Shockey working inside on Levon Kirkland. Just simply too quick. There's no way Kirkland can get out of his break to cover a guy like Jeremy Shockey in that situation. They need to come back to it, come back to it, come back to it.
And the way that they force Shockey on Levon Kirkland is, as you see, they run Dan Campbell into the flat. That pulls Carlos Emmons off of coverage on Shockey and gives him one-on-one on Kirkland.
6 catches for Jeremy as Tiki Barber has some room to run. Brought down at the 41 with another first down.
Well, once again, the New York Giants between the 20s tearing them up. Yeah, they've really done a great job all day just marching it up and down the field against a tremendous defense in Philadelphia. Their problem is they just keep making the mistakes down in the red zone.
Yeah, if it was a 60-yard field, they'd be scoring a lot of points today.
On first down, Barber running left. The ball comes out, and the Philadelphia Eagles have recovered the football. Another turnover for the Giants, and this one happens at midfield.
Well, it was right in front of the New York Giants bench. Jim Fossil right there to look at it.
Philadelphia, timeout.
So they're going to have a chance to see whether or not they want to challenge this call.
It's ruled a fumble. It's Michael Lewis, who already has an interception, forcing the fumble, and the Eagles have it in midfield, up 7. Well, to the delight of the fans, at least the Giants fans that are here at the Meadowlands, the Giants are challenging this call on the field. The 3 of us in the booth and everyone in the truck.
Right there, that's out. That's not under control of Tiki Barber, and there is nothing on the ground. That's a fumble.
So we believe this is going to cost the Giants a timeout.
In what could be a huge timeout down the road.
Yeah, it could be. And I tell you, the Giants have just been absolutely careless with the football. You remember on the previous play to this, Jeremy Shockey making the reception. He lays the ball on the ground. The officials ruled him down already.
After reviewing the play, the ball was coming loose prior to the runner being down. The ruling on the field stands as called. New York is charged a timeout.
That means that in 6 quarters of play, the Giants offense against the Eagles this season has scored 3 points, lost 3 fumbles, thrown an interception, and been sacked twice.
And so far for Andy Reid, this game going precisely how he hoped it would. He has not had to put the ball in the hands of his young quarterback, Feely. He's able to rely on his defense. And because of the Giants' miscues, it's just been too easy for Andy Reid and the Eagles here today.
Feely at this point in his career may not be able to throw a game on his back and win it for you, but he doesn't make many mistakes. He threw 2 interceptions a week ago at Dallas as he floats one out for Thrash, and it's incomplete.
And that's the ball that A.J. Feely, I believe, throws as well as any that he does throw. And James Thrash had an opportunity to make that catch. But you're right. When you talk about A.J. Feely and what he's done while he's been the quarterback, last week was the first game that he had multiple interceptions. And that's quite a feat for a young quarterback playing in these games. The game moves so much faster than anything you're accustomed to, yet he's been able to maintain his poise and be efficient.
There the Eagles throwing at Will Peterson on that play, and now Thrash makes his first catch of the day. Brought down a couple yards shy of a first down by Peterson. 3rd down coming up for the Eagles.
I'm not real sure how Thrash missed that last ball. It looked like it just sort of went right through his hands, but now finally the Philadelphia Eagles, they look like they went in at halftime, and maybe some of the wide receivers came up to Andy Reid and said, listen, coach, we've got to go look at Will Peterson and take a couple of shots against him.
And deep down, Andy Reid likes to throw the football, and I think they're starting to get back to some of that philosophy right here in this second half.
3rd and 2, play action from Feely. Middle of the field, caught for a first down. That's Freddie Mitchell.
Andy Reid wanted to get some people on Michael Strahan and help protect Feely. This time they've got Dorsey Levens coming out, doing a good job on Michael Strahan, and A.J. Feely does a great job here of getting to his 3rd receiver. He checks his 1st receiver, 2nd receiver not there, comes down, keeps the chains moving.
Only the 6th first down of the day for the Eagles. They want to throw it again. Feely lets it go, and incomplete. Peterson defending.
And Troy, look at the difference in the play calling of Andy Reid because of the turnover and the field position they got. Every time they were backed up in their own end, Andy was patient enough. He stayed with the run. He was willing to punt the football out of there. But now, because of the turnover by Tiki Barber, they get the ball around midfield, and now they're playing wide open Philadelphia Eagles offense.
Brian Westbrook is in the lineup. Eagles have it thanks to a turnover by Tiki Barber. Second down and 10. That's Mitchell. Mitchell may lack catches. He certainly doesn't lack confidence.
I knew where that was going. No, he doesn't lack confidence at all. This guy, they have tried humbling him for a whole season, and he said he's excited to finally be getting his opportunity to play today and show the fans what he can do. And he's just having to go through a little bit of a growing period, but get the ball in his hands as they did right there. He's got some athletic ability.
Eagles going with the win. Right at the edge of field goal range for David Akers. 3rd and 7. Over the middle, wide open. That's Thrash. Penalty flags on the play.
I think there's going to be a pick called on this one.
No wonder he was wide open. If that is the call.
The Giants were up and bump and run. And almost every time you get in that situation, you're going to see Antonio Freeman.
Number 86, offense. 10 yards. Repeat 3rd down.
Come in and just pick off. I believe that's Will Allen. And allowing Thrash to get wide open. Good call by the officials.
Yeah, one of the Eagle players, as we heard, didn't like the call, but that was an easy one to make. You're okay on that. If Antonio Freeman keeps running as though he's running a route, you can get away with it, but you can't stop and put your arms down as though you're trying to block the guy.
Well, the other thing you can do is you can arrow back out of it and just run slower than he's running.
3rd and 17 for A.J. Feely. Feely lets it go. Incomplete, and Feely took a hit from Cornelius Griffin as he let it fly.
And I'll tell you what, well, you got A.J. Feely on the ground. He took a pretty good hit. He's up now. You see he works up in the pocket. Anytime you start working up, you're going to take a hit. Cornelius Griffin puts it on him, but Omar Stoutmire, the safety, was in perfect position to intercept that ball and just completely misplayed it.
I'll tell you what, though, John Runyon's been doing a nice job on Michael Strahan today, his old nemesis.
Lee Johnson, this is really his specialty, trying to down the ball inside the 20. Joyce will let it go, and it takes an Eagles bounce. He punts with a Bellata football, and it's tapped down at the 12. That's where the Giants have it, down 7. Giants with the football down by 7. Offensive leaders, Tiki Barber, Amani Toomer, Jeremy Shockey all year. He continues today. And they hand it Tiki Barber, who's fumbled twice today. And Barber picked up 5.
Sometimes you have to adapt your game plan to the playing conditions. And right now, because of the field and the lack of the pass rush, there's only been 1 sack in the ball game on either side. You really need to begin to focus on what you can do best. And I think right now that's throwing the football if you're the New York Giants, because the Eagles aren't getting there with the pressure.
Curtis Martin and Brett Favre are watching this game, wondering what the footing will be like tomorrow. Over the middle. There's a throw across the middle, Chris, and it's Shockey for a 1st down.
Those two guys, Tiki Barber and Jeremy Shockey, both just too physically gifted for the linebackers of the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's not an insult to the Eagles guys, because they're pretty athletic as well. But these two guys are just special players in this league, and I don't know why you don't take advantage of it. All the Eagles are doing is just dropping back in zone defenses.
Time on the play clock. 1st down for the Giants. Barber with a blocker in front of him. And a good play by the the safety up to make the stop. Let's go down to the field and check in with Pam Oliver.
All right, Joe, Coach Jim Fossil had some concerns about some of the guys in the secondary slipping a bit too much. He made safety Omar Stoudemire stop by him as he came off the field, and he questioned what kind of cleats he was wearing. Fossil then demanded that the equipment guys change all the cleats that the secondary guys were wearing to try to get some better footing. Back to you.
Yeah, and that's what I saw on that play. Omar Stoudemire, if he doesn't slip, he picks up an interception on that previous possession.
It was Dawkins who made that last tackle. It's second down and 3. And Barber another chance. Good move. First down, Tiki Barber. Out to the 40.
And Tiki Barber is the one guy that we haven't seen slipping out there. Sometimes, and we were talking about it earlier with Daryl Jones, those smaller, lighter guys don't tend to dig up the turf the way the big guys do.
Yeah, and how about here, Kerry Collins, the pocket is collapsing around him. He hangs in there, doesn't step into the throw, gets the ball out to Tiki Barber. Tiki Barber out in open space does what he does best. It makes people miss. Big down.
122 total yards on the day for Barber. Got 8 on that last catch. On first down, Collins hit as he throws. It's up for grabs. And playing defense was Amani Toomer.
That's a great job by Amani Toomer. That ball comes straight up in the air. There are 3 Eagle defenders down there to make the interception. Amani goes up, plays basically volleyball, and just bats that thing on the ground.
That one was going to get intercepted. Indy Kalu was coming with the pressure on the outside, and this thing just gets knocked straight up in the air. Giants very lucky on that one.
That's a sickening feeling for a quarterback when you get hit. You know the ball shot straight up more times than not. That is an interception.
Kalu came off the field injured. And it's Tiki Barber. We can't bring him down, and Barber's still going. Forced out of bounds. Just shy of the 20.
This play has been tearing up this Eagles defense all day long. Luke Pettigrew on the outside getting his man pinned and allowing Tiki Barber, who starts initially up the gut and then bounces it to the outside. They've been able to get their offensive lineman out in front, and it's just been there play after play.
Yeah, that time they pulled the center, Chris Bober, outside, and this is an athletic offensive lineman, and that's one of the things that they do best is pull and move. They're not quite as good just firing straight off the ball and trying to move big people.
Ron Dane has taken off his coat and his muffler and his hat, and now he's in the lineup as we have penalty flags and whistles right at the snap.
Delay of game, offense, 5 yards. Repeat first down.
Go back to that run. Watch Chris Bober come out and pull around, and Luke Pettigrew, pretty good hold there on the outside too on Hugh Douglas, but the officials are letting it go.
And Jeremy Shockey also involved in that, creating the lane along with Chris Bober's block.
First and 15. Into the end zone, open, incomplete. The ball took off, and Daryl Jones couldn't come down with it.
Well, I think Daryl Jones just mistimed it. I think if he runs a few more steps, he's able to make that an easy catch.
You're absolutely right, Troy. He got nervous. He tried to jump, but there was no reason to jump. You'd run a couple more steps. Maybe he thought he was closer to the boundary than what he actually was, but here you end up now with a rookie in a key situation. You don't have Ike Hilliard out there. Joe Jurevicius is down with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they're reduced to playing with a guy who shouldn't be on the field in this kind of a game.
Second down at 15, Tiki Barber. That'll bring up third down. By the way, when Daryl Jones had a catch in the first half, it was the first catch by a wide receiver other than Amani Toomer since Week 13's game against the Washington Redskins. So it's either Toomer or no one else for the New York Giants these days.
Yeah, and Amani, he's done a great job of shouldering the load. And now you look at where we're at. 3rd and 7 right now. How big a penalty was that delay of game penalty? And as a quarterback, you cannot allow that to happen. Every time you have a delay of game penalty, it is on the quarterback's shoulders. You got to be more aware of it. Now it's 3rd and 7. Eagles come on a blitz, and the throw hits the back of
of Shockey and or Barber, who had the coverage. It's 4th down.
And while for the most part the Eagles have been playing a zone defense, we were talking with Kerry Collins last night. He says in every critical situation, we know the Eagles are going to blitz. They blitz there, and for whatever reason, Jeremy Shockey maybe didn't read the blitz, but he's going to have to break that play off because really there's no time at all for Kerry Collins.
Simon had pressure, and a 36-yard try now to get the Giants on the board from Matt Bryant. And it's no good. Pushed wide right. So now you have a rookie kicker, Matt Bryant, who misses the field goal. Missing from 36. 25 out of 31 on the season. And no bigger miss than this one here from Matt Bryant. More frustration for New York. The Giants have over twice the total yards of the Eagles, 304 to be exact. No points. 36-yard try missed, and it's still 7-0 Eagles. That's Deuce Staley. Room to run, and Staley is out near the 35. After the miss, Jim Fossil had this reaction to his team coming off the field.
He's in no uncertain terms telling those guys to get off the field.
One of the things the Eagles feel they can do is wear down this Giants defensive line because they don't do a lot of substituting. They feel like if they get them to the 4th quarter, they can just run it down their throat.
2nd down and 1. And brought down just shy of a 1st down. It was Deuce Staley. Tomorrow on America's #1 pregame show, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy get you ready for kickoff. Let's find out who's named the Rookie of the Year, the MVP, and many more on the Terry Bradshaw Awards, the Terry Awards. And our own Jimmy Johnson sits down with Steve Spurrier to review his first year in the NFL. It all begins tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox.
That'll be exciting.
The Eagles 1 for 7 on 3rd down. And a throw and a catch by Martin, the fullback. And he's got a 1st down as he falls forward to the 46.
Well, so much for him trying to protect A.J. Feely. On 3rd and 1, the Giants really coming. Michael Strahan got a great jump off the block. And I think he thought Cecil Martin was going to help block him. And instead, Cecil Martin just slipped past him and went out and just for a real quick, easy little pass. Looks like Sean Williams unable to make the cut back to stay with Martin.
From their own 46. Leading by 7. Feely is going to dump it off on a screen. And Levens had a ton of room but didn't have the football.
And things are getting a little bit physical down on the lower part here. Will Peterson and Freddie Mitchell. Freddie Mitchell comes right off the ball, immediately starts blocking because of the screen. These two getting in it.
Watch John Runyon just fall down on this screen pass. I don't think it was intentional. It just got tripped. Michael Strahan came in and got a good shot on Feely, but fortunately for him, it was a screen. Brett Favre imitation at the end.
That's Levens, bounces it outside. And Dorsey's brought down just inside the Giant 49 by Strahan.
Getting to be a pretty key part of the ball game right now for the Giants on the defensive side. They played a great game today, but they really need to force a punt right here and get the ball back to the offense without this field position changing too much.
Giants have dominated across the board. However, there are 3 turnovers to the Eagles' 0 so far in this game. Feely throws and he guns it to Freeman. And Freeman is brought down short of a 1st down.
Antonio Freeman didn't get far enough to pick up the 1st down on that play.
And Trey Thomas on the outside got injured on that play. Good job by Jason Sehorn making the sure tackle, but Trey Thomas, the Pro Bowler left tackle, has had the problem with the quad. And if he can't go, it may really open things up for this pass rush.
Yeah, nice job by Jason Sehorn making the tackle, keeping Antonio from getting the first down. Bad job by Antonio Freeman not knowing where the markers were.
Lee Johnson into the end zone. So a chance for the Eagles and Lee Johnson to pin the Giants deep. And it goes into the end zone, and New York has it. Trailing by 7. Back to work. Goes Kerry Collins and friends. The New York Giants have been racking up the yards, but no points. 7-0 Philadelphia. The Giants can still get into the playoffs even if they lose today, provided the Saints lose tomorrow. They host Carolina. They don't want to have help. Catch is made by Campbell, and a short gain on the play. 4 yards on the completion, and that brings us to the close of the third quarter here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Eagles from Philadelphia lead 7-0. This Fox NFL special will continue after a word from your local Fox station. One of the last few generations of fans in this rivalry have been taught one history lesson after another. Teams of bygone eras, the Giants and Eagles matching up. This one 7-0 after 3 quarters, and Collins off his back foot finds Tiki Barber, who's brought down 2 yards shy of a first down. Third down coming up. The miscues today. The interception by Michael Lewis. Then the touchdown that wasn't called back because of a hold on Rosenthal, if he called it best. And 2 fumbles by Tiki Barber, 1 in the red zone, 1 at midfield. Eventually the Giants got it back, but Bryant missed a 36-yard field goal try.
I think the Eagles are developing a new young star in their safety, Michael Lewis. He's a guy that would have been a #1 pick, but for a heart condition, what a game he's had today.
That's Shockey, first down. Emmons with a quick tackle, but not before Shockey picks up 5.
Well, Kerry Collins, this is one of those moments. He has been a guy whose career has been up and down, and Carolina took that team to the championship game. Of course, had all the downside that we don't need to rehash again, what happened to him there. Bounced down to New Orleans. But he really wants to establish himself in this league, and this is one of those situations that all falls on him now.
On first down, it's a reverse to Shockey. Penalty flag as Shockey throws, and he overthrows Toomer. Penalty flag on the play. And it's a personal foul, a clip against the Giants. Well, I've been saving this play all week, obviously, and they bring it out. They're going to lose 15
Personal
yards.
foul, clipping, number 78, offense, 15 yards. Repeat first down.
They got Rosenthal again.
Yeah, they got Rosenthal again on the play, and it was not looking real good from the very start. To get pressure, Brandon Whiting gets pressure, and so that's when Rosenthal comes and clips him in the back. And you're right, Joe, they had been working on this play all week long, thought it would provide them a big play, much like what they ran last week against Indianapolis, and then they lose 15 yards on the play when they had a little something going.
So it's 1st and 25. Collins, Shockey. How did he hang on to the ball after a hit by Lewis?
Wow. That's just brilliant. I mean, you have to know how frightening it is running that route against cover 2, running right down the middle, knowing as soon as you're going to touch the football, Michael Lewis is just going to wear you out. The concentration, the focus, that's why I think this guy is the Rookie of the Year.
Well, I don't think there's any question right there. Showing his determination to make a play and help this football team.
Got 20 yards, 2nd down and 5, and a handoff to Tiki Barber. Penalty flag on the play. Barber brought down across the 39-yard line. The Giants indicate it's against Philadelphia. And it is.
And Jeremy Shockey on that last play is spread out wide, and you talk about a guy who is gunned up right now. Here he is blocking Bobby Taylor. And that's WWF right there.
Hugh Douglas drew the foul for hands to the face.
And remember this point in the ball game. The Giants had it first down and 25 after that penalty. The huge catch by Shockey, and now picking up the first down. A huge momentum shift now towards the Giants.
Collins to Campbell. Out of bounds at the 49. Gain of 5.
Grass-Manis getting immediate pressure on Kerry Collins. I don't know if it was Jason Whittle or who it was up front, but just fanned on Grass-Manis. Jeremy Shockey, remember, this week had to miss some practice because of flu-like symptoms. Back in the game now.
Yeah, that was Grass-Manis working against Whittle. Grass-Manis, one of those guys, not an overly talented guy, but works hard on each and every play.
Big game last week against Dallas, too.
On second down, Tiki Barber slides down as he gets into Philadelphia territory, a gain of 3.
Boy, Luke Pettigrew did a great job that time getting out to the second level. This left side has been the money side right now, with Luke Pettigrew leading the way over here against Hugh Douglas. And Douglas really got the better of him in the first game, but Pettigrew's been playing awfully well here so far.
Well, I think in that first game, a lot of these defensive players for the Eagles got the better of this Giants offensive line. They've just grown leaps and bounds since that game and playing with much more confidence, and it's evident here today.
Big third down for New York. Penalty flag. Philly may have come across too early. The pass was complete to Shockey, but if it's against the Eagles, it'll be a first down.
And give a little credit to Kerry Collins coming out with the hard counts in the key situation. Third down. I don't believe that Shockey had the first down.
Offside, 98 defense. 5 yards, first down.
And Brandon Whiting on the outside, probably the smartest guy on this football team, with a huge mistake there.
Well, and you're seeing things start to heat up with Jeremy Shockey and these defensive secondary players for the Eagles. If you remember, going into that first ball game, Jeremy Shockey said that the Eagles secondary was overrated. 3 of those 4 players have gone on to make the Pro Bowl, but it's pretty intense between this group right now.
Shockey limping around a little bit as he lines up. And the Giants are going to throw on first down. Penalty flag on the play. Toomer into the end zone. But again, a penalty flag on the play, and it's coming back. Another hold will negate a touchdown.
Holding number 69 offense. 10 yards, repeat first down.
That's left guard Rich Seibert. He's working against Darwin Walker. Darwin Walker, well, I didn't see the hold there either. That's 2 calls now on these offensive linemen that I don't know about. And then you got Amani Toomer going to the corner. Terry makes a great throw up high, but all for naught.
It's one of the things we've seen around the league is that they try and get the great receivers up on the safeties. There's absolutely no hold. That is the second touchdown now that these referees have taken away from the New York Giants on horrendous calls.
One on Rosenthal. This one on Seibert. And now on first down, setting up a screen to Dane. Well, there will be a lot said behind closed doors and maybe even out in front of microphones about these 2 holding calls that have erased touchdowns for the New York Giants.
Yeah, you just hate for a game of this magnitude to come down to some official calls, and unless it's just obvious and you know that that's what's occurred, I don't think you should be throwing flags out there in a game like this.
Levon Kirkland is down and getting attention. 7-0. Philadelphia still on top. Same score as we had after the Eagles ran 4 offensive plays off the opening kickoff and scored in a double reverse to thrash. Penalty flag yet again. Catch is made by Barber, but there's a flag on the play. Barber has enough for a first down, but they've thrown another marker. And it's against Philadelphia. So that'll be a first down for the Giants after a 19-yard completion to Barber.
Legal hands to the face. Number 80, defense. Penalties decline. First down.
Well, it can't be 80. Probably 90, Simon.
Well, on this last play, it was a 2-man route. Kerry Collins wanted to go down the field. Nothing there, but Tiki Barber comes out late. He's able to get the ball into his hands. Big first down. Once again, they've overcome a long down situation to get first down and 10.
Tiki Barber waiting for a block. And a nice pickup on first down. Let's go back to the hold called on Seibert that erased the touchdown.
See if there was any grabbing of the arm or the jersey as Darwin Walker starts to slip away. Is there a pull down? You know what? To me, this is championship caliber football, and typically the officials try and stay out of it. Was there a little? To me, that's a call you don't make. You just don't make that call in this game. I think what happens, sometimes these guys are slipping and it looks like a hold to the officials.
On second down and 3, Barber has a first down. Down to the 9.
Right now, Tiki Barber is doing a great job of setting up his blocks and taking advantage of the guys out in front of him. Monty Toomer comes down inside, cracks right there on Brian Dawkins, allows Tiki Barber to get outside. Tiki doing a nice job of running with the football, following his blockers, seeing his holes, and better yet, covering up the football at contact.
4th time inside the red zone. First 3 trips have been frustrating for the Giants. That's Dane. He gets it down to the 7, a gain of 2. 2nd and goal coming up.
I know Tiki has to be absolutely exhausted in this game, but there's no way that in this moment Ron Dane should be the guy on the football field. I just,
Jim Fossil told us last week he just has an uneasy feeling when he looks over and has Tiki Barber on the sidelines standing next to him. There's no bigger point in the game right now. He needs to be on the field.
Not only does Fossil feel that way, so do the Giants fans. Blitz. Flipped up for Shockey. He fought for it. Touchdown. Rookie. Shockey. Amazing.
Any doubt before, there is no more. There is your rookie of the year, Jeremy Shockey. Brian Dawkins has the interception, has it right in his hands, and Shockey just takes it away from him. What a phenomenal play in a clutch situation by Jeremy Shockey.
The extra point is good as the Giants catch a break. It hit the upright and sneaks through. He made the 20-yard catch on the 1st and 25. He finally gets the Giants into the end zone. Barkin and Dawkins, that's a 22-year-old man. 7-7.
This Fox NFL special is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By New Campbell's Chunky Roasted Favorites, hearty soups that fill you up right. By Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be. And by Energizer, do you have the bunny inside?
What a time for Jeremy Shockey's 2nd touchdown of the season. His first since the 2nd week of this season. And they These fans here at Giant Stadium have located their towels.
They were sitting on them in the first half. They're not this half.
Now a line drive squib kick that's picked up at the 25 and brought out to the 37. Selecta on the return. But after the touchdown, with everybody cheering, you might have missed this sound. Matt Bryant didn't, but he makes the extra point. And this game's tied at 7. Well, this crowd's going crazy, and now the question is, A.J. Feely, what have you got? Staley. Good run by Deuce Staley as he crosses the 40. More exciting football, you would think, coming up from this stadium tomorrow. Brett Favre and the Packers, Chad Pennington and the Jets, with playoff hopes still alive. Big weekend at the Meadowlands. Tomorrow, 4:15 Eastern, Green Bay and the Jets. 2nd down and 6 for the Eagles. A.J. Feely, what a throw and catch. Thomason. Penalty flag on the play as Thomason has a 1st down inside the Giant 45.
And Brandon Short was just all over Jeff Thomason.
The play will stand.
And somehow Feely squeezed it in there anyway.
Number 53, defense, penalties decline, 1st down.
There's Brandon Short, and watch him. He's just going to go out and grab Thomason, and Thomason's just going to make the catch anyway. Pretty confident throw in this situation, though, by A.J. Feely.
Going into the wind are the Eagles with a 1st down at the Giant 42. Staley is hit and dropped in the backfield. Strahan first there and a loss of 1.
And Jermaine Mayberry slipped coming out as he was supposed to kick out Michael Strahan. And once again, the field coming into play. As he pulls out, he slips and falls, and Strahan allows him to go right around the block and make the play.
We talked about it at the start of this game as to how A.J. Feely would handle things in adverse conditions. This crowd is very loud, very hard to hear what's going on in the field. You see A.J. communicating things. He has handled things very well on this drive.
Play action, screenplay. Well played by Dhani Jones. No gain on the play. And now it's 3rd and long, and again another chance for A.J. Feely.
Dhani Jones plays this perfectly. Jermaine Mayberry is going to come out and try to get a block on him. He's not able to, but Dhani Jones goes low and saves a big game.
Speaking of big, this is big right here. You can't let these Eagles get in field goal position with David Akers. He's the Pro Bowl.
A.J. Feely, what have you got? Tipped, incomplete. And that was big Cornelius Griffin dropping back to get a hand on that throw.
Cornelius Griffin in a zone blitz that time, falling right back under the throwing lanes. And anytime you have a young quarterback, Troy, like A.J. Feely, this is advanced work right here. Griffin's going to drop right back underneath the route and make the play.
And it looked like he was going to Freddie Mitchell on the play, and he had him. No, excuse me, it's Antonio Freeman. He had him for the 1st down.
What a play by Griffin. And now Lee Johnson. Good punt by Johnson. That ball's down to the 7. And in a 7-7 game with a ball at the 7. 5:17 left, and the Giants take over.
This Fox NFL special is brought to you by XXX. Own it December 31st on DVD.
Other than a poor decision on the interception and 2 bad exchanges, with the center. Kerry Collins has had a big day. And he adds to his numbers with a completion to Barber. Kerry Collins has found Jeremy Shockey 10 times. And the amazing concentration for the 22-year-old rookie. On that hit, that was on a 1st and 25, good for 20 yards. And at the end of the drive, flip it up and let the rookie come down with it.
And the amazing thing is his teammates say he practices just like that during the week.
2nd down and 3. Room to run for Barber. 1st down. Barber lost the football. And the Eagles have recovered.
You have got to be kidding me.
3rd fumble of the day from Tiki Barber, and Michael Lewis comes away with a football.
Well, let's see if anything hits down. Wrist, elbow, knee. That one is much closer than the other one.
Yeah, and they didn't. Brian Dawkins is the one who came in and got it out. He leads the Eagles in forced fumbles, but he didn't even get his hand on the ball.
That's a fumble again, and Brian Dawkins knocking that one out of the grasp of Tiki Barber.
The runner fumbled the ball, was recovered by Philadelphia. New York is challenging the ruling.
Now, if they lose on this challenge, the Giants will be left with only 1 timeout, and the Eagles will have the ball 1st down at the New York 26.
And I don't know if I agree with that challenge. After you look at the play, I think it's pretty cut and dry that the ball did come out before the knee was down. And now you have to look at this situation that when you get the football back, if you lose this challenge, you're going to be down to 1 timeout as you make the move for the final drive.
Well, considering the fact that Tiki Barber had already had 2 fumbles in this game, the arm comes in on the shoulder, doesn't even get a hold of the ball. I'm not sure exactly why this ball came out to begin with, but the knee's down there. You see right here, the knee is down, and just where is the ball? The ball looks like it's starting to come out. I don't know that there's enough there to overturn the call.
I thought when I saw this angle, it looked like the ball was out. Right there, it's out. That's out. That angle is, to me, is conclusive that the ball is moving well before the knee is down.
Reviewing the play, the knee was still off the ground when the ball was loose. It is a recovered fumble by Philadelphia. New York is charged a timeout, and they are out of replay challenges.
So all Barber can do, with 158 yards on 25 carries to his credit, is hang his head after his 3rd fumble.
Yeah, and that's a lonely feeling right there.
Well, the hard part now is for Tiki Barber. He has to get his head back in the football game because they're going to get it back, and he's going to have to be a big part of that final drive.
2 challenges that have cost the Giants 2 timeouts in this half. 4:34 to play, and Staley gets to the edge and gets to the 20. They mark him down just shy of the 19-yard line.
And Staley doing a nice job of staying in bounds and keeping the clock running.
Well, Troy, that really is the key, because now with only 1 timeout left for the Giants, if you can eat up a couple of 1st downs and take maybe a couple minutes off that clock, going to be awfully tough for the Giants, even if they do get it back.
David Akers headed to the Pro Bowl, getting loose. Second and 3, Staley. Gain of 2.
Well, this is going to be a big 3rd down right here for the Giants. The Eagles are already in field goal range. They're able to stop them here, then they get the ball back with an opportunity to go down and get points of their own.
And right now for the Giants on defense, you really have no choice but to send the house in this situation, because I just don't think that Andy Reid would have the confidence in Feely to go play action here. You just have to assume run and blitz everybody.
They do run with Staley. And Staley brought down right at the marker. Eagles indicating it's a first down, and if it is, with the clock continuing to run, and now they're going to stop the clock and bring the chains out to measure. That could be a crushing first down against this Giant defense, and a big one for the Eagles.
And I'm surprised because the Giants didn't bring pressure there. They didn't bring their safeties up to try and make a play, and it cost them a first down.
Tiki Barber could barely watch that last play. So a career high day on the ground in rushing yardage, 157 to be exact, but 3 fumbles. Staley dancing, he got to the 15-yard line.
And I think what the disappointing thing is, Joe, is that when you get into a game like this, obviously you want to win, but you want to give your best effort. And so far today for this Giants team, this has not been their best effort.
A couple of guys hanging their head on that Giants sideline. Barber with the 3 fumbles. Matt Bryant, the field goal kicker, who missed a 36-yarder. And with 2:23 remaining, the Giants have no more timeouts. Second down for Philadelphia. Staley gets to the 15. That's it. Barrow tripped him up.
And as a professional athlete, I never feared getting hurt. What you fear is being embarrassed. And for Tiki Barber, there is no greater pain than what he's done to this football team and their chances to get in the playoffs.
2 minutes left in this game, and possibly in this season for the New York Giants, trying to win today to get into the playoffs. You can look at these statistics on the game summary. Another way to summarize it is it's looked like a preseason game in some respects for the Giants offensively, with mistakes and putting the ball on the ground, while the Eagles have not made mistakes today. A couple of drop passes, but they have not turned the ball over. Staley. That's going to bring up a 4th down as Barrow made another good play.
And now it comes down to David Akers. And if you're wondering, inside of 40 yards this season, David Akers is 23 of 24. Only 1 miss out of 24 attempts from this distance.
He has not had a field goal attempt blocked. The Eagles will let the play clock wind down and spend a timeout. They have 3 at the moment. And so the Giants will have over a minute remaining when they get the ball back, but they again are left with no timeouts, as Akers will make his way onto the field after the timeout and try to put Philadelphia up by 3. 3 fumbles today by Tiki Barber. 1 in the Philadelphia red zone, 1 in midfield, and then the latest one deep in Giants territory.
And if you're wondering how a team can possibly have 416 yards of offense and only 7 points on the board, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. There's so many good performances. Jeremy Shockey and even Tiki Barber running the football, but the 3 fumbles absolutely kill you. And this defense for the Giants has played well today, too.
A minute 16 remaining. 35-yard try by David Akers. No good.
I bet you Tiki Barber's feeling a little better right now.
That's the 2nd missed field goal at that end of the field. This one is pulled by Akers, and the Giants still have a heartbeat.
Well, we have a 2nd miracle at the Meadowlands. David Akers just doesn't miss kicks like that.
The confident rookie shocked.
Wow.
I think everybody on that sidelines was shocked. As Chris pointed out, David Akers just does not miss from that range.
The Jimmy Hoffa end of the field has been unkind to the field goal kickers, and Tiki Barber gets a reprieve.
You know, now we're going the other way, and for the New York Giants, their kicker has to be a bit of a basket case right now, Matt Bryant. Not only did he miss the field goal and then doink the extra point.
Well, they're wasting time right now at the line of scrimmage getting this call out.
Like they were unprepared. Left with no timeout. Shockey is overthrown, and that'll stop the clock with 41 seconds remaining. Don't forget the miss by Matt Bryant. 36-yard try was pushed.
But following the extra point that he banked in off the goalpost, his next kickoff was a shank. So sometimes, just like a golfer, when your swing starts to go awry, mentally it can really begin to wear on you.
Well, if this game goes into overtime, you've got two kickers that are less than confident for the remainder of this game.
Third down and 3. And a handoff to Tiki Barber. Barber gets it out to the 42.
And it looked like he almost had it pulled out of his arms there, too.
There's no doubt that he's thinking about that. Very tentative, and now a penalty flag as the Giants spike the football to stop the clock.
Yeah, I don't think all the players for the Giants were set when Carey snapped the football.
Start. Number 77 was not set when the ball was snapped. It's a 5-yard penalty. It also includes a 10-second runoff. Please set the clock to 17 seconds and start it on my signal.
Because in essence, the penalty stopped the running clock. It's a 10-second runoff.
Luke Pettigrew simply reshifted his foot right out here, and that was the penalty.
This clock will start as soon as the official blows the whistle, so the Giants are up at the line trying to get everything out so they can hike it right after they start the clock.
Out of the shotgun. It's first down for the Giants. And Collins airs it out. Overthrows his receiver, Derek Doris. If nothing else, the third down handoff to Tiki Barber got the Giants out of danger territory, where if they were faced with a fourth down, having to punt to the Eagles, who have 2 timeouts remaining, and we are staring at overtime, barring the miraculous here with 8 seconds left.
Yeah, and I think if I was the Giants, I would have Kerry Collins just take a knee and go over to the sidelines and take a deep breath and get ready for overtime.
And it looks like they will do just that. The Eagles could spend a timeout if they wish, but they'll let it wind down, and this game will play on. The Giants hope to play on after this game, and the incredible season for Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles, trying to win their 13th game for the first time in franchise history, will go to overtime.
And we really haven't talked much about what this game means to the Philadelphia Eagles. Remember, if they win here today, they are assured home field advantage throughout the playoffs. If they lose and Green Bay wins tomorrow, then the championship game, if it holds true to form, would be in Green Bay instead of Philadelphia. And for all of us who have ever been in Green Bay this time of year, that is a major difference.
That's why they haven't lost a home playoff game in franchise history.
Yeah, and how about Andy Reid? Just the way he continues to show his composure.
We're going to play a sudden death overtime. First team to score will win the game. The timing of the game will be the same as the fourth quarter. First team to score wins. If nobody wins at the end of 15 minutes, the game will end in a tie. Each team will be allowed 2 team timeouts. Here we go. Philadelphia on here. Here's a coin again. Helmets are heads. Logos tails. What do you want? Heads is called. Heads it is. Philadelphia wants the ball. What do you go for? You want to go just the way you are? Good luck.
So the Eagles win the all-important coin flip, and they will get the ball to start the overtime. It's 7-7 at Giant Stadium. And the Eagles will start the overtime with the football.
Until Brian Mitchell got on this squad and he turned them into a great unit.
You see Bryant slipping on the kickoff, starting from their own 45. Feely is dragged down from behind. Kenny Holmes with his biggest sack of the year.
Well, A.J. Feely just getting a little too comfortable in the pocket. There's got to be a little timer that goes off in your head, letting you know you got to get rid of the ball. He hangs in there. Kenny Holmes drags him down by the back of his shoulder pads.
But look at all this room, Troy, to step up, and instead he moves to his left. He just panicked a little bit. The protection was there. He just tried to escape.
4 wide receiver set as Feely throws, and it's Mitchell out to midfield. It'll be a 3rd down and 5 for the Eagles.
Well, they make it a manageable 3rd down situation. On the day, the Eagles are only 3 of 12 on 3rd down conversions, but they pick up enough yards there to where at least they're 3rd and 5, and the distance is somewhat manageable.
What a chance for the young A.J. Feely.
Let's see if they come after him with the blitz. Empty backfield.
On 3rd and 5, Feely fires. It's tipped and it's picked off by Williams. Feely's looking for a flag and they won't get it.
I agree with Feely. I thought Brandon Short either hooked the face mask or pulled something. It looked like pass interference to me.
Well, he was on him pretty good. It was Brandon Short on Chad Lewis, and Chad Lewis was the one who was looking for the penalty. And I agree with you, Chris. It looked like Brandon Short was all over him, and we're going to get a good look at it right here. They're going to come over through the top of the screen. It's pretty doggone close.
I mean, you can't hook a guy like that when he's trying to move to his right for the football.
Tiki Barber tiptoeing to his right. A nice gain on 1st down as he crosses the 40. And now they throw a flag. Here's the interception by Williams, his 2nd of the season. And we'll see what they call here on the sideline.
Well, there he is, Mr. Window Dressing, having the presence of mind against a veteran like Troy Vincent to stand there, throw his arms up in the air, and not retaliate.
You wonder if they're going to flag Vincent or if they're going to pick up the flag. And they're going to flag Vincent. And that is a huge penalty.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 23, defense, 15 yards, 1st down.
You can see the official, 22, looking at the end of the play. Wasn't looking at it until the shove by Vincent. And that's a big 15-yard penalty to put the ball just outside the Philadelphia 41. Again, the Giants win today, and they're in the playoffs. Barber. He gets it to the 36.
And you notice Tiki Barber on that run had both hands around the football, and rightfully so. You see him, he's protecting the football the entire way. He's been a little bit loose with the ball, and that's why he's fumbled. He's not going to take any chances here.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Jim Fossil, I'm playing for a touchdown here. I do not want this one in the hands of Matt Bryant based on what we've seen so far.
2nd down and 5. Barber. 1st down and more. A career-high day on the ground and a reprieve as this game is headed to overtime. 3 fumbles and it may not matter. 196 yards for Tiki Barber.
Yeah, and Jim Johnson came out this week, defensive coordinator for the Eagles, and said that this offensive line for the Giants was better pass blockers than they were run blockers. I think that this offensive line took it personally. They've done a nice job opening up holes for Tiki today.
Barber gets away in the backfield and falls forward to the 21.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Tiki Barber, a veteran player, has just shown the biggest heart in the world out here today. He's absolutely exhausted. You can see that. He's had the horrible day with the 3 key fumbles, and yet here in this key drive, he keeps making plays, spinning off people. They're getting him hit in the backfield, and yet he's still able to pick up 4, 5, 6 yards.
Well, I think he should thank David Akers for giving him an opportunity to maybe show some of that heart.
The ball ends up on the ground, and Barber falls on top of it.
I'll tell you what, this offense under Jim Fossil, when he took over calling plays, has prided themselves on executing, and that it looked like Kerry Collins on the exchange put the ball in Tiki Barber's chest.
Well, you saw Tiki get up and say, it's on me, and if he'd have lost a 4th one, he had a suicide watch for Tiki Barber.
Well, it's 3rd down and 7. The Giants are inside field goal range, and they toss to Barber. He gets it to the 21, just shy of the 21, and it will be Matt Bryant coming onto the field to try and win it. If the Giants win, they're in the playoffs. Even if the Eagles lose, if Green Bay loses tomorrow here to the Jets, they'll still have home field advantage.
Are initiated by the replay booth in overtime.
And Matt Bryant, 13 for 17 from this range so far this season, and the big key on this turf is the plant foot. Can he get a secure plant to make the kick?
He's missed from 36. This will be from 39 to put the Giants in the playoffs. Bad snap. The Giants. Good job by the holder, Matt Allen, to take the snap off his hip and get it down.
And give a lot of credit to Matt Bryant. Here's a guy that was just having an awfully tough day. The missed field goal, barely made the extra point, and with the season in the balance, Matt Bryant drills it right down the middle.
McNabb be ready in 2 weeks. Will the Eagles still end up with home field advantage in the playoffs? The Giants are in right now as the number 6 seed. Let's go down to the field and check in with Pam Oliver.
As Tiki Barber wipes his eyes, tears of relief, joy, what?
Everything. You know, this was a tough game for me. Put up a lot of yardage, but I put it on the ground 3 times and put ourselves in jeopardy too often. But we fought together, we stuck together, and it feels awesome that we were able to move it down and get this field going. We're going in the playoffs. It's beautiful.
But you know what? In the end, the ball was in your hands. You did a great job to get them in field goal position.
Coach Studesville told me, we need you. We've rode you all year. We need you to step up and be something on this last drive. We're going to keep giving it to you, and they did, and that came through for them to make me feel great.
Boy, we talked about playoff atmosphere before this game was even played. What does it mean to you now that your team is finally in it?
Well, I tell you, it's a whole nother season once the playoffs start, and we're going on. You know, we made some mistakes. We did good things, but we made a lot of mistakes, and we have time to correct that. And it's a good thing, and it feels great. I tell you, this is a great feeling.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Joe.
All right, Pam, the Giants right now are in the playoffs as a number 6 seed. They'll be a number 5 seed if Atlanta loses tomorrow at Cleveland. There's the bad snap, the good hold, and for the Giants, a beautiful kick. Jim Fossil saying a few weeks ago, this isn't over until we say it's over. It's over, and the Giants are in the playoffs. We'll take a break and come back to Giant Stadium, where they continue to celebrate. What a day for shocking. The Giants have made it into the playoffs. 10-7 the final in overtime. Back in a